Hey guys, it's Dr. Ray here. Oh my goodness, and my lighting is not good at all. Look kind of dark there. And I have a ring light. Ugh. Okay, so I'm a little challenged, technically challenged, okay? But it's bright, so it just looks a little bit different there than it did a couple of minutes ago. So, hey guys, welcome to Monday Night Mimosas. Again, I am so sorry that I have been missing in action for the last couple of weeks. Had a lot of stuff going on personally and with my family, so I had to kind of step back a little bit and regroup, right? Sometimes you have to do that, sometimes that's necessary, but your girl is back, right? We're back to talk about relationships and some hot topics and things of that nature. Now, I do want to say, guys, I want to say thank you so much for continuing to follow me. A lot of you all did hit me up and say, hey, where you at? What's going on? When you coming back? You know, and I appreciate that. I want to encourage you to continue to share and like my videos. Definitely continue to follow me. I am on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook, and it is hashtag Monday Night Mimosa or hashtag Dr. Ray. Now, you can also send me some of your own personal questions or some situations that you would like to talk about on Monday Night Mimosa. You can send that to me at mondaynightmimosa@gmail.com. Okay, again, that's mondaynightmimosa@gmail.com. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. And I have my eggnog because it is Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Okay, and I love Christmas. It's one of my favorite holidays. You know, it's all about giving and sharing and family and friends, you know. So I want to wish everybody out there a Merry Christmas. Also, for New Year's, I'm going to be coming to you guys live from Las Vegas. Yes, this year I will be spending my New Year's in Las Vegas, and I'm going to go live, right? And we're going to talk about some stuff. And it's not a Monday night. It's actually a Thursday night. It's actually a Thursday night. And, but we're going to have some fun. Okay, guys? So I want you guys to mark your calendars. So on next Thursday, which is New Year's Eve, I will be bringing in New Year's right here on Monday Night Mimosa live in Las Vegas. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Enough of the chitter chatter, right? So guys, this one I have really, this is a really long message that this person sent to me. So I'm not gonna read it all. I'm gonna kind of skim through it, and because I like to share with what they say, right? Because I don't want anybody to reach out to me and say, hey, you didn't, read my story or say exactly what I said, and now I feel like I have something caught on my nose ring. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, a piece of hair or something. Anyway, so I want to try to read as much as possible, but I don't want to, give you guys too much information where it's like we're on too long, right? Want to try to keep our Monday Night Mimosas to at least 30 minutes. I know one time we went all the way to like 45 minutes, and that was really long, and we don't want to do that, right? Don't want to lose your attention span, because I know adults sometimes. It's like hanging a little carrot, dangling a little carrot, follow the white rabbit. Sometimes we lose interest real quick. Okay, but this one, and she says again, and I'm going to kind of be skimming, just to kind of give you a little background. She gave me a lot of background here. So she says, Dear Dr. Ray, I'm engaged to be married this coming summer in July. My fiance Bob and I have been together as a couple for 3 years. However, I have known him for 20 years. He was a close friend of my cousin Henry. Okay, so I'm going to skip all of that. He eventually married somebody else, another young lady. She didn't really know her, but she went on to college, and Bob, and that's who she's calling. She's calling him Bob. That's not his real name, though. So Bob eventually married a close friend of the family, and she went on to college. She now lives in Texas, and he lives in California. Let's see. She came back, she was in Canada. She moved back to back to Texas about 10 years ago. Bob saw her on Facebook, reached out to her, and they started talking as friends. She says over the next 3 years, they would probably talk maybe 4 or 5 times a month just as friends, right? He eventually got a divorce in 2014. She then reached out to her cousin to get the scoop on Bob to see what was going on. Now, apparently, and she did say this, I don't think I read it, that Bob was a friend of her cousin Henry. Sorry. Yes, Bob was a friend of her cousin Henry. And again, that's not his real name. And Henry told her to leave Bob alone. Don't mess with that. But now here it is, many years later. And now she's, thinking about pursuing a relationship with him. He's gotten a divorce. She reaches out to her cousin Henry again to ask about, hey, what was going on with Bob and his relationship. And so basically Henry said, from what he understood, that they had a lot of issues. The wife was not happy, but he didn't really go into details. Okay, so she left that there. And then she said, so she eventually moved to California, got her own apartment so she could start dating Bob. And remember, she was in Texas. Bob is in California. So she moved to California, got her own apartment. She said she has a degree in human resources, and she got a job working for AT&T as HR manager. She says, when I look back at the first year we were together, there were some things that happened that should have been a red flag to me, but I ignored them thinking that was just his way. For example, she says, he would ask my opinion about situations that he would encounter at his work. Now, he's a warehouse supervisor. When I would give my honest opinion, based on the information he gave me, he would make statements like, clearly you don't know nothing about managing people. If you did, why would you say something like that? He would often make these types of statements discounting my opinion, and we would end up arguing. So I started not giving my opinion, but this didn't help either. She says, I would say to him, my opinion doesn't matter because it's your situation, and I will listen, but I will not comment. She said, this didn't help. He would then say things like, your opinion matters to me, and if I can't get you to share your opinion with me, your honest thoughts with me, what kind of relationship do we have? These two examples have been ongoing through our relationship. But the main reason why I'm writing is because he also likes to pick fights, in my opinion. He says he doesn't like to do that, but most of the time when I see the conversation going to end up in an argument, I ask him if we can drop it or agree to disagree, but he never does. He then asks me questions that he already knows the answers to. And in my opinion, this is to make me feel stupid. We had 2 major fights where I was going to break up with him. Both of the fights, I ended up being the bad guy because I blew up and lost control. Okay, the first one, I slammed the door really hard when I was leaving, and I broke the front door window. The other argument ended up, I was in a rage and I flung my arms and I threw my glass and it hit one of the pictures on the wall. Both situations, I felt like he wanted me to explode. He could say he wanted me to explode so he could say that the argument was my fault. Most of the time when we get into arguments, he would always stay calm, but his words were always hurtful or accusatory. So I found myself always defending myself with him. When I would tell him about how hurtful he was to me, or I would mention something that he said or did, he would act like he never said it or he never did it, or as if the situation never happened. I've already said a lot in this letter, but my question to you is, I don't know what to do. I spoke with a few friends about the situation. I even talked with another counselor who pointed out to me that my relationship appears to be a classic textbook sign of gaslighting. This past year, I have felt like I was going crazy. I don't know what to do. Please help. Signed, Deliriously Confused. Okay, Deliriously Confused. So let's go ahead and take a sip of our mimosas if you guys have them. This is my eggnog. Now, Deliriously Confused. this situation, hey guys, I see you. Thanks for joining. This, in my opinion, is something that we see really often, but we really kind of don't know what the situation is. We really don't know the name for it. We really don't know what's happening. I can relate, to this particular situation. She says that she has already spoken to some friends of hers, and she's already spoken to a couple of counselors. And this last past year, she felt like she was losing her mind, or that she was going to lose her mind. And that's unfortunate. I'm going to say this to you, dear, that if this man is your fiance and you guys are supposed to be getting married next summer, and you are feeling like you are about to lose your mind, this may not be a good move right now. You may want to pump the brakes. And yes, Dr. Ray is saying you may want to pump the brakes, take a little more time, get some marriage counseling if you haven't, premarital marriage counseling if you haven't. She didn't say, that they've gotten any counseling. She said that she's talked to a counselor, but she hasn't said that them together have gotten premarital counseling. Marriage is a huge step. Marriage is very huge, and it's not for the faint of heart, let me tell you. Going on my second marriage, and I've learned a lot in this relationship that I am in right now. I didn't really know as much as I thought I knew from my first marriage. Marriage is a commitment. Marriage is about loyalty. It's about understanding. Okay. It's about patience. It is definitely about self-evaluation. Okay. It's about compromise, trust, communication, very, very big. Communication. And here's the thing, being able to communicate, it's not just about you talking, right? Now, we communicate in many different ways. We communicate with our body language. We communicate with our silence. We communicate with our words, our actions, right? But you have to be able to really hear what your partner is saying. And it seems to me that in this particular situation, there's some lack of hearing that's going on, and probably some lack of communication, because she didn't say in here if she actually, have shared with him her disposition of where she is right now and how she's feeling, right? It's really important that you're able to have an open dialogue with your mate or with your partner. And it's really important that you're able to feel safe like you can. Now, this is something that's really important, because a lot of times when we get into relationships and we talk about communication, and, we'll say, oh, you can talk to me, or I'm always here, my door is always open, but when you're saying that, do you really understand that the person that you're saying it to, they not only have to receive it, but they have to feel safe with you, knowing that you're going to deal with them fairly, right? And not out of your emotion for what they're feeling. Okay, so that's important as well. Okay, feeling safe with your partner to say, yes, I feel safe with you to know that you're going to handle my emotions, and you're going to listen, really listen and hear me, and not react or, explode. So this, her fiance says to her, and she's saying that these are situations that always happen in their relationship. He will ask her opinion. What's your opinion about a situation? She will give her honest opinion, And then now he, in turns, make her feel bad because that's her opinion. Obviously, if he's making her feel bad, she must not be agreeing with him, right? Now, a lot of us do this, okay? We'll ask someone's opinion, and if they don't give the answer that we like, now we're kind of upset about it, or we'll respond, in a negative way. Now, don't ask if you really are not ready for the answer. And when you get the answer, you have to remember you asked that person, right? And that person is not you. We're all individuals. We all see things differently. All of us can be in the same room, hearing the same conversation or looking at the same program. And when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, somebody asks, what happened? All of us are going to have different interpretations of what we saw and what we heard. Now, we may have some common points, but we're all going to express it differently. So it's important in our relationships that you understand that your partner is not you, right? And so for this situation, sweetheart, you need to understand that you need to be able to talk to him, and you have to talk to him and let him know what's going on and how you feel. If you're not doing that, if you don't have open communication with him and you don't feel safe with him, thank you guys for the love. If you don't feel safe with him, then that's an issue. You don't marry a person that you don't feel safe with. You do not marry someone that you do not feel safe with. Okay? Mental stability, mental issues, depression, all of that is real, people. And it is in a lot of our relationships. And a lot of behaviors, a lot of times we don't even realize that we are doing, and her fiance may not even know that he is gaslighting her. And we're going to talk about that because she did bring that up and she did mention that. So communication is important. Okay. So that was the first issue that she brought up about him asking questions, and then him kind of making her feel bad when she gives her honest opinion, and not even making her feel bad, but belittling her. He says things like, obviously you don't know how to manage people. He says statements like that. So I can only imagine that he said other things that have made her feel low or little or beneath him, or like, her opinion doesn't matter. Right. But then she says, well, she made a decision that she wasn't gonna, answer him in the way that he wants her to answer when he asked her opinion. She said, I'm going to keep my opinion to myself. And so then I'll just say, hey, sweetheart, you're in the situation, so you have to come to your own conclusion. Then he flips the script and then further makes her feel bad because she won't engage in conversation with him. That's not good. That's really not good. There's a few terms that come to mind with that. There's a few terms with that. Okay. Narcissist kind of comes to mind. Controlling kind of comes to mind. But we have certain behaviors. We have these behaviors and we don't even know that there's a clinical name for them. Okay. I think we all have, not, we felt like when we're in a relationship and we're not getting what we want, we may act out. Okay. Acting out is one thing, but when you consistently have a certain behavior, and I believe that's why she's writing to me, because he has this consistent behavior. It's not a one-time thing or a two-time thing. She's saying that often this is what's going on, right? So the second situation, she says, let's see. he likes to pick fights. Okay. And she says, in my opinion, he says he isn't trying to pick a fight, but most of the time, the conversation is, when she knows the conversation is going to end up on an argument, she basically she wants to squash it. She doesn't want to get into an argument with him. And that doesn't fly with him, according to what she's saying. He wants to have the conversation. And then she's saying that he'll ask questions that he already knows the answers to. Oh my God, that is so annoying. Okay. Now, I've done that on occasion. I've asked a question that I already know the answer to. And the reason why I do that is because I'm trying to make a point that, hello, duh, of course you know the answer, right? And that's not right. I shouldn't do that either. Right? And just because I say I've done it, or I do it on occasion, that doesn't make it right. It is a behavior that a lot of us engage in. We'll ask a question that we already know the answer to. And why are we doing that? There's a motive behind why we do that. You know, sometimes, and again, it's like there's certain behaviors that we do that is just like second nature to us, and we don't even really know why we do them. Right? There's no real intention to hurt our partner, or to hurt our family, or to hurt our friends, right? But the behavior eventually does hurt them. So she says he asked her questions that he already knows the answer to, in her opinion, to make her feel stupid. And that was, you know, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you know, he's trying to make a point, right? Not only that, though, she says that then he'll say things that's very hurtful to her. And when she brings it to his attention and she says, hey, this is what you did to me, he'll make her feel like it didn't happen. Okay. He makes her feel like it didn't happen, as if she's now crazy. It didn't happen. I didn't say that. I didn't do that. And here's where it kind of gets a little tricky, right? Because does he really know that he said that, or did he really truly forget? Did he forget that he said it, or that he did it? So, you know, that could be a hard call sometimes. If we're talking about gaslighting, a lot of people gaslight and they don't even know that that's what they're doing. That's a clinical behavior that many people engage in, and they don't know that they're doing it. Okay. Especially if you know that, okay, you know that you said something, and then the person says, well, you said this. And you're like, no, I did not say that. But you know that you said it, but you don't want to fess up to it. Or you know that you did it, but you don't want to fess up to it. Okay. Now you're making that person feel like they're crazy. Like something they're saying happened didn't really happen. Right? That's part of gaslighting. And that's bad. That's really bad, because what happens is you begin to second guess yourself. And this is what she's saying. She said she has felt like she was losing her mind, you know, this last year. Also, what she says, she'll want to end the argument or not talk about a situation, and he wants to keep going on about it. He's saying hurtful things to her, but saying them very calmly, right? But the hurtful things he's saying to her is basically pushing her buttons and getting her all riled up while he is just calm. He's sitting there and he's calm, you know? And I like to call this kind of behavior throwing the rock and hiding your hand. You know, you want to throw a rock and get the party started, right? Get things stirred up. And then when it gets stirred up, you want to be like, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like that? Why are you going crazy? That's also part of gaslighting. And then when the person blows up, and that's what she did, she said there's two occasions where she blew up. And this is bad. This is because mentally, emotionally, and physically, because she slammed the door and she broke the window. And then when the other situation, she was flailing her arms, and she threw the glass and she hit the wall, and a picture on the wall. That behavior is not good. Okay? That's not good. And oftentimes what happened, and please listen to me, oftentimes what happened is, in a gaslighting situation, the person or the victim that it's happening to ends up getting hurt physically and emotionally. And this is what's happening to her. And I need to tell her that you definitely need to pump the brakes on your wedding. Or if you're going to go ahead and go through with the date that you have for your wedding, you need to get serious premarital counseling, and you need to bring these things to his attention. And you know what? It doesn't feel good. I said this before on a couple of my other videos. It doesn't feel good when someone shows you yourself, or someone shows you their opinion of you, and it's a negative one, right? When it's your partner and it's somebody that you love, and it's somebody that's really close to you, a family member, a friend, someone that's significant to you, and they share something with you that is negative about yourself, okay, stop for a minute and look at yourself. Self-reflect. And you have to do it from an honest place. You can't do it from a place of defense, because if you do it from a place of defense is not going to allow you to see all the nuances and all of the various things that's going on with you. You have to be an open book to yourself. To thine own self be true. Most of us walk around wearing masks. Most of us do. Even with our mates, we're wearing masks. We won't let them see the real us, because a lot of times we know the real us, and we know how ugly we can be. And so we're afraid to show anybody that side of us, for the fear of them not loving us, or the fear of them being upset with us, or whatever the case may be. I say, own your ugliness. Okay, yes, this is me. I have an ugly side. It's not good, but I'm working on it. Okay? When you do that, then nobody can hold nothing over your head. When you do a true self-evaluation, and let me tell you something, there's so much information on the internet, okay? You can look at certain key bullet points of gaslighting, and you can, or narcissistic behavior, or controlling behavior, right? Or whatever the situation is, it is. There's so much information that you can do your own self-evaluation for yourself. And you say, okay, but be honest. Be honest with yourself. Okay, do I do this? How often do I do this? Go down that list and see. Relationships are hard. Relationships are hard enough when you have a partner and somebody that loves you, and you guys are fighting this fight against the world, trying to make that paper, trying to come up, trying to raise your family, right? Dealing with health issues, the economy, everything. Relationships are hard. And when you have a partner, you definitely want to make sure that you are giving your best to your partner. Are you giving your best? Now, this gentleman right here, her fiance, I feel like, I said this to her, you guys really need to have a conversation. You need to put it all on the table and be really honest with him. Do not go into this marriage feeling this way and you don't let him know how you feel. That is not fair to him, first of all. It is not fair. And he may not even know or be aware of his actions, of what he's doing. And I'm almost going to guarantee that it's probably going to hurt his feelings, or he's going to be offended in some kind of way if you tell him that you feel like he's gaslighting you. Or even if you share, I mean, I had this happen to me, you know, my husband shared an article with me about some other stuff and said, hey, read this, you know, and I was offended, but I had to really stop and say, you know what, I'm going to read it. And to myself, I had to be true. Is this me? Right? Some of the things on there was me, but a lot of them wasn't me. Right? So you have to be able to have an open mind, truly hear your partner's heart. And I'm telling this young lady, hear your partner's heart when you guys talk. And if he's willing to share and be honest with you, you know, as I said, you know, relationships are hard enough. We're fighting, you know, the outside world, trying to just keep our stuff together, right? So you have to be open and honest with each other. You have to communicate and you have to talk. So she goes on to say, let's see. So she finds herself oftentimes defending herself. And that's not good, you know. And she says he'll say hurtful and accusatory things. And she finds herself oftentimes defending herself. You know, all I can really say, Miss Deliriously Confused, is that 1, talk to your fiance. 2, if he's receptive to your conversation and to what you're saying to him, the next step is premarital counseling. Go get some premarital counseling. Okay? Have a mediator that can shed some light on his side and your side, and your both you guys' disposition and what you need to do to work through some things. Okay? All of us bring some type of baggage into a relationship. And I've heard some people say, some counselors say, you know, don't get into a relationship until you're all good and all straight and everything is hunky-dory. Is there ever such a time? Is there ever such a time in a person's life that they don't have any issues? You know, I feel like there isn't. I feel like everybody has baggage. Some people just know how to handle that baggage better. They know how to compartmentalize and put it in its proper place. But then something may happen and it will trigger a thought or an experience or an expression. You'll hear a song that will remind you of a situation, right? And it may come back to your memory and it might make you feel some kind of way, and you might not react on it. You might not, you know, lash out or do anything to anybody, right? But you kept it to yourself, you know? But it's still your stuff. It's still your baggage that's in your mind. And what I say to that, though, that all of us have our own baggage and everybody brings their own stuff into a relationship, is we have to learn how to handle it better. We have to learn how to handle it better and don't put it on the next person, right? I mean, I could go so many different ways with that as well, but just staying right here on track with Miss Deliriously Confused, she definitely needs to talk to her man. She definitely needs to make sure that they get premarital counseling. And she needs to get some counseling herself. And apparently, from what she has said in her message to me, that she has spoken with somebody already about the situation. And this is why she said that they told her that it's classic textbook signs of gaslighting. Well, everybody, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. Again, New Year's Eve, I will be back on celebrating the new year, bringing in the new year from Las Vegas live on Monday Night Mimosas. It'll be New Year's Eve mimosas. And again, please continue to follow me, like and share. Please share the videos. Share my videos. Please share my videos. Repost them. Get the word out for Monday Night Mimosas. You know, continue to reach out to me via email, which is mondaynightmimosas@gmail.com. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and sharing with me. Thank you so much. You guys be safe. Have a happy and Merry Christmas and continue to make your mimosas, okay? Talk to you guys later. Bye.